Fellow freedom fighters, it occurred to me today what the future of the United States is to be. It came in premonition. It's also obvious. So, currently, the United States and Russia equally possess 3,000, roughly, nuclear weapons. If nuclear war was to break out, the entire planet would be destroyed so that nobody could inhabit it anymore. If one country was hit with a nuclear bomb, the enemies of that country could not move in to take over because of radiation fallout. So they couldn't take the resources. This means that nuclear war was just a fad in the 80s when they first found out how to create nuclear weapons. But now they've discovered that to use those nuclear weapons would not benefit anyone. In fact, the current nuclear weapons that are just housed by both Russia and the United States are now starting to leak radioactive materials into the earth. So even without using them to destroy the entire planet, just trying to house them is starting to destroy the planet. So nuclear weapons are really a dead end. So where does that leave us? With robot armies. Right now, China is developing advanced artificial intelligence. So the future will be a day when the sky blots out dark in the United States, and it will be shadows of paratroopers and their parachutes. This will darken the sky as these robots are dropped over the United States by China and their forces. Those robots will land in the United States and outnumber every single American 50-1, and these robots will be extremely heavily armed, the likes of which no American citizen could resist. The first shots fired by any Americans will make them into Swiss cheese by these robots that outnumber them. The remaining who do not fight will be put into internment camps, where they'll be used as slave labor and harvested for their organs. Someday, in these internment camps, the evil of the United States citizens will reminisce about the days where they lynched good Americans with impunity, eradicated the natives with impunity, and subjugated everyone else in between with impunity. And they will remember those as the good old days. Currently, China has engaged in a Belt and Road Initiative. This is where they've taken Western money that they've now made over the last 100 years from Western culture, and they are currently purchasing all the most poorest places on earth, in essence making them owned by China and part of their military by force. Once that's complete, they then would be able to dispatch robot armies on the rest of the world and take those armies over easily. So this, unfortunately, is what I see as the future. Anyone who wishes to research China will quickly find that they have an initiative to reposition themselves as the world power by 2025. I can see the entire plan now. Americans, when they scramble to make robot armies of their own, will realize quickly that they can't go to China now to have China build those robot armies like they do now with everything else. China will refuse to build those robot armies, and in fact, will only build their own robot armies because they want to take over the United States. The United States will then have no way to build its own robot armies because it constantly says that everything has to be built in China because it's so cheap. And they won't have anybody here in the United States that has the know-how to build the technology. So the United States won't be able to compete with a robot army the likes of what China will have. China will be so advanced technologically, we will have no chance to combat them with this new robotic army. This will be the downside to the United States wanting to ship all of the tech jobs and information to other countries. Ultimately, Germany lost the Second World War. It was because they hated Jews so much they kicked out Einstein, who was a Jew. And because of his genius, he created a bomb that ended Germany's path to being the greatest nation on earth. Imagine a day in the future when an African American brother in the United States develops a technology that could protect the United States and make it win another world war, but because of its hatred, that African brother has to leave the United States, go join the enemy, and the enemy wins the war. This assuredly is the foolishness that will repeat itself because of the hatred in the United States. I see all of this as transpiring, and I predict this to be the future of the United States. God bless.